Welcome back to the Perk'S reCAP podcast, Yankees edition. Well, I can't come on here and say that I'm, expecting them to pull off this three-game win streak to continue because I'm not. How can you really expect that? I don't really know how you can. Um, they're down 0-2. They've given up 23 runs, and the old fears that I had from all the way at the beginning of the year was the bats just going silent at times, and everybody, batting 200. And collectively, even with the Boston series in there, they're batting terribly. The hitting has really failed them, and but more so, the pitching has failed them. Their pitching has been horrible, like record-breakingly horrible. It started off game one. Luis Hill was going. They showed no faith in Luis Hill doing anything. They pulled him after just two and two-thirds innings. He had given up 2 runs. He didn't walk anybody, but he had 4 hits. Like I said, gave up 2 runs. Then they bring in Heel and Duvall. Duvall actually pitched really well. And then Luke Weaver comes in. Luke Weaver hasn't been right in a little while, but you knew they were going to go to him. You knew they were going to see if they could get the old Luke Weaver to come out. But it was the exact opposite. He blew the game up. He didn't record an out. 2 hits and a walk. 3 runs, and that was basically the ball game. But it's on the Yankees hitters too because they mustered 6 hits total, one measly little run against Kevin Gausman, 1 run, and it was 2-1 in the sixth, and then that bottom of the seventh was when Weaver was in there. They gave up. They got 4 runs because Fernando Cruz came on and gave up a run as well. And then Paul Blackburn was the sacrificial lamb for an inning and a third and gave up 4 more runs. And they ended up getting blown out 10-1. 10-1 in the playoffs. Aaron Judge got a couple of hits, but nothing impactful. Uh, Struck out with the bases loaded, which was terrible. Um, they were 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Left 7 men on base. Just a dead team, just a team that had no shot in this one. Um, the hitting took them out of it early, and then the pitching took them out of it late. Just when the hitting got scratched across a run in the sixth inning, then the pitching completely blew up. Gave up 4 in the seventh, 4 in the eighth, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has become Ken Griffey Jr. from the 1995 series. If you're old enough to remember that, Ken Griffey Jr. in the '95 series against the Yankees. Mattingly's only postseason appearance was that series, and Ken Griffey Jr. was like Babe Ruth. I mean, we could not get him out. We couldn't do anything with him. He basically won that series for them in terms of at the plate anyway, and that's what Vladimir Guerrero's doing. Um, he was 3 for 4, 2 RBIs in a run, hit a homer. They were 5 for 10 with runners in scoring position. So they were much better than we were all across the board in game one. And then you want to go to game two, and you're thinking, okay, that was Kevin Gausman against Luis Heel. But game two, we have our ace Max Fried on the mound. We have the advantage because they're going with a rookie, Yasevich. Not even sure how to really pronounce his name. I'm not familiar with him. And Max Fried just completely takes them out of the game again. Early. Goes 3 innings, 8 hits, 2 walks, 7 runs. 7 runs. Toronto scores 2 in the second, 3 in the third, to go up 5-0, and then 6 runs in the fourth against Will Warren, who comes on in a weird situation. I don't agree with this. Will Warren is a starting pitcher. He's not used to coming in with runners on base, but yet they bring him in. I understand he's the long reliever, but get through the inning and let him start a clean inning. At least that's somewhat familiar to him. That's at least, how he would normally start a game when he's a starter, right at the beginning of the inning. But he comes on with runners on base. He's not used to that. I don't like that call by Boone whatsoever. I did not agree with it. Um, he goes 4 and 2/3 and gives up 6 runs and gives up 4 home runs. 4 home runs. Bellinger hit a home run for the Yankees late. Judge made an error uh, that was not really impactful. He made an error in the outfield, getting a ball in the corner. It got by him. So letting the guy basically stretch a single or a double into a triple. He was standing at third, but then the next guy hit a home run anyway. So I mean, it really didn't do anything. And the Yankees, get measly garbage time runs late. 2 in the 6th, 5 in the 7th, and nobody cares because I certainly don't. 5 for 7 with runners in scoring position, but again, this was all late. Left 7 on base. But here we go again. Vladimir Guerrero, 3 for 5, 4 RBIs, 2 runs. He had a grand slam. Where is it? I just want to make sure I get the inning right. Yeah, fourth inning off Warren, 3 on. Grand slam in the fourth inning. And once he hits that, it's over. Once he hits that, it goes from 5-0, which is still not great, not good, especially the way they're hitting, to 9-0, and now the game's over. I don't care anything that happens after that. They actually tacked on another one, made 10-0. What do I care? Because I don't. Actually, they tacked on 2 more. I'm sorry, and it was 11-0 after the fourth. 11-0 after the fourth. And by the way, they were getting no hit by the C Savage kid. He went 5 and a third, didn't give up a hit. 5 and a third, 11 Ks by a rookie pitcher who was 23 years old, making his postseason debut. Not nervous at all, not scared of the Yankees at all, just mowing them right down, no problems at all. I mean, the Yankees really got into their bullpen. They used a lot of guys. Is that a benefit later on in the series that they've seen everybody? Between the 2 games, they've seen everybody in the Blue Jays bullpen, I guess. But their bullpen, does it really matter? I mean, there's not one aspect that I believe the Yankees are better than them right now. They're not hitting like them. They're not hitting with power like them. Their starters haven't been as good as their starters, and our bullpen hasn't been as good as their bullpen. So what are you doing? And coming in, I thought our lineup would be better, and our starters would be better, or our starters would be at least as good or better. I thought we had the advantage in all three. Or, well, our bullpen's been really bad, and that was an Achilles heel. But their bullpen hasn't been very good either. So I thought maybe that would kind of be equal. Starters advantage us, hitters advantage Yankees, and instead it's the other way around. All three advantage Blue Jays. They are playing tremendously better than us. And now here we go. Backs against the wall. It's an elimination game on Tuesday, down 2-0. And we'll see what the Yankees can do. We'll see what the Yankees are made of. I have no confidence that they can win 3 in a row against this team that has owned them all year. That's another thing. This team has beaten them all year. Now all of a sudden you're gonna beat them 3 games in a row. Maybe they rise up and show a little pride in the next game and win game 3. But then I think that kind of dies off, and in game 4 you lose. That's kind of like what I'm thinking. We'll see. Game 3 is tomorrow. Of course, I'll be watching, with a pit in my stomach. Just all the hope and all the good vibe we had off of the Boston series is gone. Judge is hitting 400 for the series, but it's like he's not in the lineup. He hasn't done anything impactful at all. And I mean, this is a real problem. You can't, you could be the biggest Judge fan you want to be, and I'm one of them, but he's got to come up bigger in these moments, and he has not. He struck out with the bases loaded. That is this lasting image of this series so far. Him striking out with the bases loaded and nobody out. But I mean, but to be fair, it's not all on him because Bellinger came up with the bases loaded and one out and walked. Okay, and then Stanton struck out. Bellinger and Stanton don't need to do what they did either. Stanton didn't need to strike out. Stanton has not played well at all in this series. Real quick, I also want to mention Varsho for the Blue Jays was 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs and 4 runs scored against the Yankees in the second game. Um, Bellinger, Rice, and Stanton could be better as well. Bellinger, Rice, and Stanton all came up with the bases loaded as well, just like Judge did, and didn't do anything. Bellinger walked, and then Rice popped up, I believe, and Stanton struck out. Now Stanton got a couple hits in the second game late though. Again, for the postseason, he's batting 150. Trent Grisham for the postseason is batting 150. Bellinger is batting 211, and Judge is batting 444 because he was 2 for 3 again in the second game as well. A couple runs and a hit and an RBI. But again, this was all late. This was all meaningless. They scored 7 runs in the sixth and seventh inning combined. So you're going to have some numbers, but the game was 13-0. Or okay, it was 12-0 when the Yankees scored two. Then it was 12-2, 13-2, and then they scored five in the seventh, 13-7, and then that was an eighth and ninth nothing. Uh, so for this one, I don't know what to think about the hitters because again, it was garbage time late, so nothing that really was all overly impressive for me. Nothing that really means anything for me. But this is on Max Fried. The Sunday's loss is on Max Fried. He's supposed to be the ace. He's been the ace all year. 3 innings, 8 hits, 7 runs. Game over. Right there. Game's over. And you don't have a shot. And then you bring in Will Warren in a spot you should not be bringing Will Warren in. And he gives up 6 more. So the pitching, I don't know what you're gonna get out of Carlos Rodon. How short of a hook do you have for Rodon if he gets into trouble? Because he has been known to get into trouble and it completely unravel it. Now the last game out against Boston, he got in a little bit. They ended up sticking with him and it worked out. He got out of the inning and I think he pitched one more inning after that. Um, do they still have that kind of faith in him? Because like I said, we've had him for a few years now, and you know what happens with him. Sometimes, of course, sometimes he's great and he's just mowing everybody down and doesn't have any problems all game. Sometimes he'll get into some trouble and wiggle out of it, but really he doesn't do that often. More often than not, when he gets into trouble, it snowballs. And we can't obviously have that happen. I think you got to gauge it. And when you're gauging that kind of a situation, is he unraveling? Can he wiggle out of it like he did against Boston? That's a feel type of a thing. And I don't trust Aaron Judge to have Aaron Judge. I don't trust Aaron Boone to have the right feel for it. His gut, his judgment is not something I have any confidence in that he'll make the right call. Because that Will Warren thing was ridiculous to me. And then they bring Weaver back in, by the way, in the second game for a third of an inning. And he actually gets an out. So his ERA now, since he didn't get an out on game one, his ERA is 135, coming down. You know, 135.0. Will Warren's ERA is 11.5. Max Fried's ERA is 6.76. I mean, yeah, you can have a lot of fun with this stuff. I mean, let's see. Luis Heel, 675. Paul Blackburn 27.0. These are ERAs of people that have pitched in the playoffs for the Yankees. In the playoffs. These are the real ERAs. They gave up 23 runs in 2 games. And people want to pile on Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge could have went 4 for 5 in all these games and hit 3 home runs in both games, and they still would have lost. So what do you want? This the pitching can't be given up. They can't be giving up 12 and 13 runs or 11 or whatever the hell the numbers were. 12 and 11, 13, 12, whatever it was. Okay, so it was 10 and 13. 23 runs in 2 games. You cannot you can't do that. That's on the pitching staff. And I understand the ones that were later, especially in the 10-1 first game, the last four in the eighth mean nothing because once the four in the seventh came along, the game was over. It was 6-1. So that could be, yeah, the Yankees had Paul Blackburn in, and then he just of course imploded and didn't do much. Went an inning and a third and gave up 4 runs on 6 hits. So that was the sacrificial lamb thing. So you got to shave some of these runs off. They're not as it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be. But the facts are the facts. The pitching has completely failed. They're not keeping them in games at all. And then when they even if they were to keep them in games, the Yankees scored 1 run in the first game. What do you want the pit? You want to hold that Toronto lineup with Vladimir Guerrero channeling Babe Ruth, the right-handed Babe Ruth, or like Manny Ramirez through Vladimir Guerrero Jr. or his dad, Vladdy Sr. You're gonna hold them down, Alejandro Kirk. You're gonna hold them down to no runs or 1 run and score 1 run and want to win. And those 7 runs they scored in the second game mean nothing to me. They mean absolutely nothing to me. And the Yankees will try to hang their hat on that somehow. You watch, they lose. They lose on Tuesday night. They'll talk about how well they hit overall because those numbers get inflated in that seven run 7 runs they got in game two. There's too much against them for me to believe they can win 3 games in a row. There's a lot against them. They can score 7 or 8 runs tomorrow on Tuesday and lose because the pitching gives up 9 or 10. The pitching can give up 2 or 3 runs and they could lose because they score 1 run again. Both of those things are very possible. And to be honest, probable against this team. We have not proven we can beat this team. They are supremely confident, and they should be. And I'm supremely not confident. All I'll say is Rodon's got to pitch one of the best games of his life, and the Yankees are home. They got to put some balls over the fence, show some power, be the New York Yankees, and take it 1 game at a time. Tomorrow's game, season is on the line, must win situation, and they got Bieber on the mound. Bieber is kind of up and down. He's not really. He's coming off the AC or not the ACL. I think he's coming off Tommy John. I'm not entirely sure. He's coming off injury for sure. Um, and then they're going to put it on the kid again. Let's just say they get by game three, and I'm not confident they will. But if they do, game four, it's the Cam Schlittler show once again. Put it all on the kid in game four. And then game five, how confident can you be? Say you do win these two. Again, I'm not confident they're going to get by Tuesday. But say you do. Say Cam Schlittler, you can't expect him to do what he did last time, but pitches well enough, and they win the game. You confident going back to Toronto for game five, winner take all game? I'm not. But if you're a Yankee fan, you're a Yankee fan for life. I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a Yankee fan for life. I have been since the 80s, since the mid 80s, early 80s, but really got into baseball in the mid 80s. Don Mattingly was my guy growing up. And I lost my mind in '95 when they actually made the playoffs because all through the '80s they never did. I don't remember 1980 when they went to the World Series. I don't remember that at all. I was like four or five. So I've seen a lot, is the point. And I had more confidence in this team than I had in the last few years. Last few years, even when they made the playoffs, I was like, yeah, but this team is so flawed. They play a lot of terrible players, players that should not even be in baseball or in this lineup all the time. Everybody bats 200, and then Judge doesn't show up in the playoffs. And it hurts me to say that. He's my favorite player, obviously, right now. He's the captain. Change my mind. You got to change my mind at this point because right now I'm pretty confident in saying that he comes up small in the playoffs. That's just all there is to it because it's not me being confident that he comes up. Those are the facts. That's the fact of the matter. He has not imprinted the playoffs or come up big in any playoff series I can remember. And all he's doing this year is helping his overall postseason batting average because he's batting 440 right now. But it's all singles in the big spots he's come up in, he has not delivered in any of them. You know, two outs, nobody on in the fourth inning. It's a base hit up the middle. Next guy gets out, and that's it. That's what Aaron Judge has been doing. The only way they have a chance on Tuesday, the only chance they have a chance to get to Wednesday and get through Wednesday and then get to Friday is if Aaron Judge hits. If Carlos Rodon gives a Carlos Rodon kind of a outing and goes 6 innings and gives up 4 runs, that's kind of the outing I'm expecting from Rodon. And that means the Yankees have got to hit. That's not taking you out of the game. 4 runs. 4 runs should not take you out of the game. But it does if you're scoring one and you have 3 hits through 4 or 5 innings. You have 1 run. I want to see offense from this team. This pitching staff is going to give up runs. You have to out hit them. And you are getting absolutely embarrassed by how well they're hitting and how bad you're hitting as a team. And then the captain has got to come through. And we'll see if he can. But that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I will be back. If Tuesday's the end, we have the Wednesday NFL podcasts. Make sure you check out the NFL podcast. The week five review show should be a lot of fun because week five was a disaster. Week five was a mess. Our worst week of picking games. We're probably going to laugh about it more than anything. But yeah, week five in the NFL was crazy. So we have that review show, and then we'll preview week six as well. So you can expect the Yankees season wrap up show. So I am not expecting to get through Tuesday and Wednesday at Yankee Stadium. I'm just not. That'll come out on Thursday of this week. And I'm going to get you some dates so you know exactly what's going on. So tomorrow's the 8th, or well, today's the 7th, Tuesday. The season could end. It probably will end on the 7th. On the 8th will be the NFL podcast on the 9th, Thursday. will be the Yankees podcast. It would be great to say that we're going back to Toronto for a winner take all game on Friday the 10th, but chances are on Thursday the 9th, when I am back with you on this podcast, it'll be wrapping up the Yankee season and getting ready for 2026 and the changes that need to be made. But anyway, hopefully you enjoy this. That's going to do it. Until next time, I will see you later.